Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the podcast and the YouTube channel. Sal Vetri here, and today we are going to be breaking down the Friday, March 27 slate for the LEC. The European League is back. The weekend is here, so the European and the American League for League of Legends will be kicking back off. Midweek, you get the Korean League and the South Korean League and the China League, so the LPL and the LCK. Now we get all the leagues back on the weekend, so I already have the video out for Friday's 2 a.m. start for the China and the Korean League. You can check that one out. There's a $20,000 to first prize pool as of right now for the European, the LEC League, and that's what we're going to be breaking down in this video today. So welcome everybody. If you're new here, I appreciate you being here. We are only 200 subscribers away from 20,000. So if you get any value from my video, if you have in the past, if you've been watching for a while now, just take those extra couple of seconds. I'm sure you have maybe some more free time on your hands for everything that's going on in the world. Hit that subscribe button, notification bell as well. Really appreciate it. On the podcast, we have been trending in the fantasy sports space, so if you could also hit the subscribe button there, I greatly appreciate it. Now, I do have these models for every single slate, so if I don't make a video, because there's 3 or 4 different leagues playing, and every single day, that's a lot to ask, and honestly, it'll just ruin search rankings as well on YouTube on the back end stuff for algorithms, but if you do want to make sure you have access to all these models, they're available on Patreon. I also have projections on Patreon, which I do not show on the YouTube videos, as well as my interest pools, Discord access as well for specific tiers. So you can check all that stuff out, linked down below over on Patreon. So with that being said, let's get into this video for this 5-game slate that starts, I believe, at 1 p.m. East Coast time on Friday, March 27th, starting with the top laner. So biggest favorite on the slate. And we're back now to the European League where there's just a ton of favorites. Like in the Korean League, in some of the China slates as well, you're going to see just coin flips, like only slight favorites, slight underdogs. Here, you just have a ton of huge favorites. Pretty much every favorite on the slate, 4 out of the 5 are minus 455 or higher. The smallest favorite is a minus 238 favorite, which is still a huge favorite. So sticking to favorites makes some sense. Maybe you want to get one of these underdogs in there. Maybe it's Mad Gaming, the smallest underdog at plus 175. But sticking to favorites, when you still have 5 of them, you can make unique lineups in that aspect. Makes sense. So just stopping at the top laners, $7,200 is a really steep price for a top laner. Above average, definitely, but huge favorite. 81% win rate for the rounds that Wunder's playing for G2. They're a 1250 favorite at this point, G2 Esports, that is. And nobody even compares. 8.1 assists per contest, 129 assists so far on the season through 16 games. The next closest is 91 assists for Orem for Mad Gaming. So for Mad Lions Gaming. So it's not even close in terms of over 2 right now 2.4 assists per game more than anybody else in the slate for Wunder. You're getting good kills as well, 2.8 per contest at this point. That's very strong relative to a lot of other players in the slate. That's going to be just the 3rd highest in the slate overall. So there's upside there as well, as you can see. Started every single game so far. Wunder's going to stand out. The price point obviously matches it. Other situations where I think there's some really strong plays. Bwippo for Fantix right now, they are a minus 238 favorite, 75% win rate. You're getting the most kills in the slate for a top laner at 3.5. Kills per contest, 5.3 assists per contest is the 3rd highest out of all the starters. And the thing that really stands out, highest damage rate. 24.9%, which just only means upside for you. So I do think at this point that Bwippo looks really strong on DraftKings at 6,600 and actually on Monkey Knife Fight. So you can check out Monkey Knife Fight. They have more or less. It is a contest style over there. And what you do there is you just choose more or less for kills, assists, or fantasy points depending on the player. And if you hit it right, you get a victory. So for fantasy points in terms of top laners, the one top laner that they have a contest out for is Bwippo, 25.5 more or less fantasy points. It is the same scoring as DraftKings in terms of kills, assists, deaths, and creep score. I'm going to have that number at the over that number at 25.5 for myself personally. So I do think that's good. If you want to try out Monkey Knife Fight, they're going to give you 100% deposit match up to $50 and a free $5 game if you use the promo code VETRI, all capital letters, VETRI, VETRI, or you can click the link down below in the description. We'll take you over to Twitter, which will then take you over there. I can't post the links directly, but Monkey Knife Fight, they are right now having a ton of games and offerings, which a lot of sites aren't in the esports area. It's different. It's not salary cap. You just choose. Do you think it's going to go over or under, more or less? I have projections, so it should help a lot of people with that. But Bwippo looks really good in all formats, including Monkey Knife Fight there. Looking at some other players, I mean, Alfiria for OG at this point is going to look good as well. Origin, you're just going to get a lot of kills. You're going to have just not a lot of deaths at all. Probably right now the lowest in the slate for any starter. And you're getting an average amount of assists. So all those top players, I mean, right now Bwippo probably looks like the best option, just factoring in everything, all the sites. Heading over to mid laners. So what you have here is just perks is fantastic. I mean, there's not much to say here. You're getting the biggest favorite. You're getting the highest win rate in terms of rounds played. You're getting the leader by far in assists at 7.2, about 1 assist per contest more than anybody else. You're getting the leader by 0.6 in kills per contest at 4.8. Highest first blood percentage on the slate, good damage rate, good kills, creep score per minute. So you're paying for it, right? 8,200 for a mid laner. I think it's fine to do so. You obviously just have to get different elsewhere in your secondary stacks, your 2 or your 3 stacks, if you're going to 4-man stack this G2 Esports, which by far looks like the best team, and it's going to be priced that way. Going down a little bit more, Larsenin from Rogue is going to be fine as well at $8,000. I'd rather get to perks, but you're still getting a very good kills player. You're getting an average assist player, but kill participation is also going to stand out around 70%. Highest creep score on the slate up there as well. So just going down a little bit more, it's tough to really want to get to any of these underdogs like Abadaj. Just a huge underdog right now, plus 637. It's a strong player, second most kills per contest on the slate, highest kill participation, highest damage percentage. So mid laners will usually score the most points if their team loses. Abadaj, it's very, though, concerning to want to play the biggest underdog at your mid laner position. But if you ever like to take extreme risks, that's a player who has a ton of upside when his team wins. So looking at some other things, Nemesis stands out really well as well. Second most assists, 6.4. I'm not going to get a lot when it comes to kills though. 238 favorite, but it's a cheaper price point. The thing that does stand out for me is going to be Nemesis's Monkey Knife Fight assists. It's set at 6.5 more or less. Averages 6.4 assists per game, and that's taking into account losses. In victories, I have it around 6.9, so I'm going to be taking the more on Nemesis assist on Monkey Knife Fight. Again, if you want to check that out, free $5 game, 100% deposit up to $50. Promo code VETRI or the link down below. There's also some props over under stuff for Humanoid over there at 22.5 points, probably something that I'd stick towards the under more so. The less 3.5 kills, all these things you can see on the screen if you're interested, and my projections that are on Patreon will kind of help you go towards that. But I think that Nemesis looks okay on all sites. Abadaj, if you want to take extreme risk, is a player who has a huge ceiling, and as the position indicates, mid laner, even in losses, can get you points at a cheaper price point. But for the most part, it's going to be perks. It's going to be Larsen up top. I do think that you get a good amount of assists from Nuke Duck, from OG, from Origin, so you get upside there as well at 7,200, 455 favorite. Support players, so just looking at some of the support players right now, Mikey X is by far the best support player in the slate. Nobody even stands close. It's going to be a tier of his own. He should just be the player that you probably play if you're playing one lineup. Obviously, if you're playing 150, you're going to have some other players in there, but it's not even close. He averages over 4.5 more assists per game than anybody else in the slate. Per game, has a 75% kill participation. Creep score is the highest in the slate, right? When you're looking at kills, 1.38 is more than a half a kill more than anybody else. 1.38 for a support player is fantastic. So Mikey X, 6,400. The price point is fantastic. You want to throw him in your captain spot in lineups, I think that's completely fine. Has started every single game so far. There's nothing to not like about Mikey X as a minus 1250 favorite, winning 81% of his rounds. Yeah, he's just by far the best support player in the slate. It's not even close. If you want to look at some other options after that, I think that Destiny for Origin stands out as a big favorite, minus 455. You're getting 8.8 assists per contest. You're getting a solid 72% kill participation. That does stand out. Looking down a little bit more, Kaiser is a slight underdog. So this is where you can get maybe different with your one-offs, but if you want to take the risk for Mad Lions right now, plus 175 underdog, but you're getting the second most assists per contest at 8.9, the highest kill participation, so that if you're going to get the victory and involved in kills, you even have the upside for more than the 0.88 second highest in the slate kills per contest. You're getting tied with Mikey X for the highest creep score per minute. So a player who has a ton of upside. If you get the loss there, that's where the downside starts to come in. So the Monkey Knife Fight, more or less, is set at 8.5 assists. You're getting 8.9 assists per contest for Kaiser, but in losses, it's going to be less than that. So right now you have this as a slight underdog. In terms of like DraftKings, where ownership matters, I kind of like taking that type of a pick in some lineups. In terms of Monkey Knife Fight, I probably just stay away from this, but if anything, I would lean towards the less, just because they are slated as an underdog and you don't have to worry about ownership as much as just playing it optimally. But that's where I would go, at least for Monkey Knife Fight. FanDuel, $7,700 price tag. That's a better price tag, but as an underdog, I'd probably stay away from it. DraftKings, the 5K price tag on Kaiser is probably where it stands out the most. 80 carries now, your highest scoring players when the team wins, and usually, for the most part, high scoring players. Caps up top for G2, just another player that's from G2 that's almost on another field of their own. Now you have a couple other players that are actually really good 80 carries, but in terms of assists, 9.4 average assists per contest. That's going to be about 3.5 more than anybody else in the slate. Second highest kills per contest at 4.5. 150 assists, just a pure round number of assists this year. 150. Next closest is Reckles, who's the second most expensive player from Fantech, at 88 this year. So Just fantastic. Huge win rate, of course. So Caps looks fine. Reckles right after that at $8,000. It depends on who you want to get into your lineup. You probably can't fit both of them in, depending on how you're building. But Fantic comes in as the smallest favorite, but still a 238 favorite. You're getting a ton of kills. Most kills in the slate, 84 total kills, is right now 8 higher or 12 higher than Caps, who's in second. 5.3 kills per contest. That's fantastic. And you're getting 73.8 kill participation, highest creep score in this slate as well. Reckles right now, kills are set at more or less 5.5 a Monkey Knife Fight, $8,000 price tag on DraftKings, 10.4 on FanDuel, both in play at those price points, of course. But the 5.5 right now, more or less a Monkey Knife Fight, you're getting 5.3 kills per contest as an average. If anything, again, it's sort of like a clear stay away from me, but I would lean the over, the more there for Reckles at 5.5 a Monkey Knife Fight right now. Looking at some other situations, there's not much more that stands out. Carzy for Mad Lions at 6,400, a plus 175 favorite, a slight underdog. So if you get the victory out of Carzy, you're going to hit that upside, which is usually around 4 average kills, which is usually around 5 average assists. But that's average, right? When you get the upside in the wins, it's going to be above 4 average kills. It's going to be a little bit above 5.5 average assists. So the 23.5 points that Monkey Knife Fight has is sort of the right now more or less point for fantasy. It's going to be in my projections lower than that because you're projecting the loss here for them as an underdog. So it's probably something that I do stay away from. If anything leads towards the less there. But in terms of DraftKings, where ownership matters, in FanDuel and tournaments, $6,400. If you wanted to try and get one of these underdog teams, this is the lowest underdog, the smallest dog, with a lot of upside if indeed they do hit that victory. So I think that does stand out. Not going to be playing the huge favorites from SO4 here, S04 with Inax, even if it's a spot where just a fantastic player in terms of points per contest, in terms of overall assist percentage being the second highest on the slate. Not going to get there. It's really Caps, it's Reckles on the top end. Upset as well from Origin is fantastic as an option if you wanted to get there. Strong kill participation, strong first blood, gets kills, third highest on the slate at 4.1. And then if you really wanted to punt Carzy down low on DraftKings, looks fine. FanDuel, the price point, I'm probably not going to get there as much. Monkey Knife Fight, the overall points at 23.5. I'd probably just stay away from that. If anything, lean the less. And then for our junglers here. So steep prices on junglers. Jankos is without question the best jungler on the slate. It's very similar to Mikey X for G2 Sports, Esports. 131 assists is 28 more than anybody else. If you're talking about just pure kills right now, 28 more kills than anybody else in the slate. 4.8 kills per contest, 8.2 assists per contest, has a 16.2% damage rate, leads the slate in creep score. Like, you're paying $7,600 for a jungler, so it's really difficult for me to want to get there by far on a playing field of his own though at this point. So Jankos is fine if you do get there. Probably somewhere where I'm going to get a lot more 4-man stacks with the mid laner, the AD carry, and just Caps, things like that, and not get to Jankos as much and just use my secondary stack for jungler. Even though the scoring difference is wide, it's just a lot. It's hard to kind of fit it all in. Xerax at minus 455. Looks okay. Damage percentage is going to be right up there, tied for the highest in the slate. Doesn't die. Least deaths per contest at 1.6, which is good to see. Big favorite. 75% win rate per round. So that's okay at 7,200. But you probably want to get a little bit lower in terms of spending money. So Selfmade has started all 16 games, a 238 favorite right now for Fantic, if you believe that they win, or in some lineups at least you think that. A 6.1 assist per contest is very strong. Kill participation is a little bit lower, so you're not going to probably see an upside as much, but highest damage rate on the slate at 16.5, 2.8 kills per contest. These are just things that you want to look at and try and gain some sort of an edge. So Selfmade, okay. On the opposite side of that, if you want to get lineups that has Mad Lions winning, Shadow looks fine as well. Plus 175, they're going to give you less points. Like Jankos is probably, if indeed the 1250 favorite hits, is going to score somewhere around 30 points. Whereas everybody else in the slate is probably going to be lucky to get to like 24 or 25. So there will be a scoring difference. So you might as well make up for it by getting a decent salary discount, if that makes sense. So that's where these price points are. No Monkey Knife Fight, I believe, contest for the junglers. All right, so now just looking at the teams, I'm going to be sticking to the favorites. I probably get a lot less than most people of G2 Esports. They're a huge favorite. They're probably going to win, but most of the teams that win are going to score somewhere between 16 and like 22 points. Some might go up to like the 25 range, but projection-wise, a lot of these winning teams will be between like 18 and 20. So paying $6,000 for a winning team that's probably going to get a lot of ownership compared to paying it's $5,200 for Fantic, who is probably also going to project out right around the same amount of points for me as G2 Esports if I project them to win, which Vegas is currently doing. Doesn't make a lot of sense. You get to save money. You get to save probably maybe ownership. I don't know how owned G2 Esports will be. But the big thing is saving money, and two, at that point, they're going to project out very similarly. So all the favorites I'm going to have interest in. Mad Lions will be the only underdog as of right now as I record this. If the lines move, then sure. But the only underdog team and players that I'll have interest in, I'll probably just exclude all the players from the huge favorites like SK Gaming and O4 Esports out of just my player pools at this point. Going to exclude team positions out of my player pool for the captain option. But then, yeah, Rogue, Origin, Misfits Gaming, Fantic will probably be the teams that I get the most of in the team spot. I'll have some G2 Esports, but not as much as people think. G2 Esports is just by far the best in the slate when it comes to kills. 18.3 per contest. That is by far the highest, more than 3.5 more than anybody else in the slate. If you're looking at how often teams die on this slate, the two teams that die the most, 14.9 deaths per game, both Team Vitality and Excel Esports. So that just makes Misfits Gaming have a nicer upside in their kills. It makes Origin have a nicer upside in their kills, already averaging 13.1 kills per contest as a team, third highest in the slate, now facing the team that dies the most in the slate. And then SK Gaming versus Rogue, they die 14.5 times per contest. Rogue right now is getting around 11.5 kills per contest, so it should boost up their upside there as well. That's where I'm at right now with this slate. Tomorrow at 1 p.m. East Coast time, March 27th, the LEC, the European League. Check out what I have to offer on Patreon, projections, all that. The projections will really help with obviously every single thing that you're doing. If you're using just single entry 3-max, if you're playing cash, that definitely will help. If you need an optimizer and you are putting in a ton of lineups, you're going to need projections. So you can check those out, link down below, as well as some other content. Check out also Monkey Knife Fight. Monkey Knife Fight partnering up with them for some of this esports stuff is pretty cool. Seem like a great group of people, men and women that I've talked to over there so far. You can check out Monkey Knife Fight as well. That Vetri is the promo code VETRI. There'll be a link down below as well. You get 100% deposit match up to $50, and you get a free $5 game just by using that promo code. So you can check that out. Some of the stuff we discussed in this video can be pulled and used, some of the stuff over on my projections as well. And that's where I'm at as of right now. So without further ado, thank you for tuning into this. Hit the subscribe button before you go. Let's get to 20,000 before April starts. We got about a week to do so. You all rock. My name's Sal. Best of luck on this slate, everybody, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed that video. Above my head, if you're not already subscribed to this channel, I do ask you if you can please hit that subscribe button. It helps me out a good amount to reach more people. You can also follow me on Twitter. That's over there. Right in the corner is my @SalVetriDFS Twitter. And then above, you'll find my Patreon link. You can click on that if you want more exclusive content for me, or a video is going to pop up, so why don't you check that one out as well. I think it's going to be beneficial for you. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.